Somebody or the other in the team knows how to use PowerPoint, right? Great. So, there are three things we are going to do with this data, right? First is we are going to have something which is a very static presentation or an overall presentation. What is that? We are not going to merge the data or do composite index, nothing like that. A static presentation is presenting each indicator. So, you have got 1, 2, 3, 4 indicators, right? And you have got 6 districts, right? So, for each indicator, I want you to make a PowerPoint chart, a histogram or whatever way you want to do it, make a PowerPoint chart showing exactly the value of each district distributed. So, if you have got 4 indicators, you will have 4 charts, right? This is the static one. This is also important. Next, what we are going to do is that how to do a composite index using the 4 indicators together. Finally, what we will do, you have a group, you have a group, you have a group, how to take all the groups information and make a mega composite index. So, the first one you have finished already, they have finished already. Start making the PowerPoint presentation. 4 slides. First slide, indicator 1 by the 6, this thing. Just open PowerPoint, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you take this. You create charts in Excel and then put them in the PowerPoint.
Okay, you can make it later, doesn't matter. Concentrate here and we have to sit with each team.
Yeah.
So, guys, attention. So, what you have here,
your phone,
is a very basic static presentation, right? For each indicator, you have got one slide or one figure, and it tells you what each indicator is, right? Now, you have done health, okay, and sanitization. Lovely. Now, how many indicators? You did 4 indicators, right? So, you've got 4. You'll have 4 graphics. You guys did poverty alleviation. You've got 4 graphics. They did agriculture. They have got 4 graphics. It's very simple. Every indicator has a own graph. Yes. Now, the next level is a composite indicator. What do I do to create an output for health and sanitation as a whole? Not for individual, but as a whole. I want to say in health and sanitation, this is the situation across the 4 districts. I already know across each one of the indicators what is the situation. But together, what is the situation? That requires some basic statistics to be done. Okay, now, everyone has something like this. You already have something like this. You've got 1 indicator, you've got 2, indicator 2, indicator 3, indicator 4. Yes? Everybody has this thing done in Excel? Okay. How many of you know how to calculate mean in Excel? Mean or average? In Excel, I think it's called average, right? Okay? Alright. Go to any cell. Suppose this is the Excel sheet. Right? Can this be the Excel sheet?
Should we do it on the projector?
Do it on the projector. Just below here, put an equal to sign. Equal to sign. And type in AVG. I think average, in short form they say AVG. Yes? Have you done it? AVG? Then it is going to be asking you where is the data for which I have to do average. It is asking you that, right? What is, from where to where is the data? Then come back and select from here to here. She will show you how it is done. So come back and select from here to here. If you try it equal to, see what she has done.
I've put
She is equal to average.
Average.
It's not AVG, it's full average.
And you
right?
select the numbers.
Go, start again.
Equal to. Should I zoom in? Is this any better?
So for any cell, it doesn't matter. Yes.
Equal to average.
Type in equal to average, and then it is going to ask you from which number to which number. That means from which cell to which cell. You have to select the cell to cell.
And hit enter.
And hit enter, it gives you the average or the mean value. Manmeet, can you just go to the dictionary?
You've done it?
Don't do that. Don't do this you do later.
Why don't you come here? You're sitting alienated. Are you able to do it?
Right? So you want to have the average. What you do is equal. Where is the equal to? Press equal to.
Trying from this one.
Equal to, right? No, not yet. Right? Average. AVERAGE.
Yes. Now select these numbers.
Sum. Then put a bracket.
Great.
Then it is asking you from which number to which number. From this number to this number.
Right.
Enter. It is giving you the average value. Okay? You do the same for all of them.
Once you have calculated the average for one column, you can simply drag it for other indicators. So from the bottom right
you don't have to do
end,
all you have to do
this
now
particular dot you will see,
select this.
bottom right. Just
Control C.
hold it and drag it.
Down here. Control V.
Should I do it again?
Control V.
You have done it. Are you guys able to
It will
do
take
it?
the formula.
Okay.
So this is done. Okay. Next. Once you have done your average, there is one more thing that needs to be done. Here you have done average, right? Then you are going to do something called STDV, standard deviation.
Do we know what is standard deviation?
Let's not get into what is standard deviation. Let's just tell them how to do standard deviation.
Come on. How will they make sense of a cat if they don't know how to write cat?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for what was the average for first indicator? Anyone? 49%?
What was your value for the first indicator?
0.80%. Okay. So what standard deviation means that we want to know that how far are each of these values from the mean value. Standard deviation, how values are deviating from the mean, around the mean. It could be positive, it could be negative, right? So if my average is 0.80, 0.39 minus 0.80 is negative, 0.82 minus 0.80 is positive, correct? So it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, it could be both negative and positive. So we want to calculate what is the standard deviation here as a whole for this data set.
So for average, what did you do? You do equal to, then wrote average, then put a bracket, and then you selected the thing. Standard deviation is the same thing. You put a equal to, you write STDV.
Look at here, equal to
standard deviation आया ना STDV.
You can use STDV dot P or S, either of them. They are not very different. So the STDV was the older formula. Now they have population and sample. Okay. Let's not get into the technicalities of dot P and dot S. You can use either of these two.
Right. Then do a bracket.
Once you have selected this formula, select your data set again.
The moment you put the bracket, it will ask for the data set. Select the data set, enter. Select the data set and enter. Clear?
stdev.p.
Enter. These are not the average, no? This is a raw value. Okay, that's your standard deviation. Okay, so now you've got the mean value and you've got the
Standard deviation. Again, like we did it for the mean, we pulled and dragged the cursor, right? Do the same thing for the standard deviation also. Just hold it,
for all of them.
hold the bottom right
All
corner
four?
and drag it across the columns. So now you have calculated the standard deviation and the average for all the 4 indicators, correct?
So what is the standard deviation for this? Very low, because your variation is very low. If the variation had been very high, the higher the variation, the higher is the standard deviation. Yes? Now next, they have to insert a line in between.
Or maybe after the 4 indicators they can do that.
You explain whichever way is comfortable.
Okay, so there are 2 ways to do the next step. One is after the end of the 4 columns, you can start, the 5th column will be blank, right? So the next step can be done from the 5th column onwards. Or after the first column, after the first indicator, you can insert a new column. Then after the second indicator, you can insert a new column. After the third indicator, you can insert a new column. It's up to you, however you want to do it.
So do you want to insert new columns or do you want to do it from the end? Okay, fair enough. So if you're starting from the end, right? This was the first indicator, right? Right? You can copy the names of the indicators here also. Copy the same names.
Just copy the top. So for example, I should copy this and put it here. And maybe just use a different color code so that you know that this is the new data. The calculated fields.
Maybe red color or green color.
Any color. This is not a necessary step, but it's easier for you. Done? Observation minus. But we need not do that because Excel has a formula for standardizing as well. So we just have to put the...
No, I'd rather than do this.
Trust me not. You'll have to teach them dollar. You can explain the concept here and we can use the formula here.
Okay, listen to this very carefully. Okay, the next step, these are all cells, right? And these formulas are something, if you could write down, it would be helpful. We are now creating composite index, right? So what did we first do? With the raw value, we found out the average. Then we found out the standard deviation. Yes? So the next step, which is let's say 1 dash, or this is 2 dash, this is 3 dash, this is 4 dash, 1 dash, there is a formula. The formula is called observation minus average divided by standard deviation, right? Observation is what? This value. This was the observed value. Yes? This is the value. Minus average. That was the average. divided by standard deviation. Right? Observation minus average divided by standard deviation. So observation was what? 1.16 minus what was the average? 0.80. What was the standard deviation? 0.00323. In this case, in the next cell, what is the observation? 0.46 minus average will be the same. Standard deviation will also be the same. Right? For this, as it will go. For the second column, whatever is the observation here, you will put it here, minus whatever is the average, you will put it there, whatever is the standard deviation, you will put it there. Now, Manmeet tells me there is a shortcut in Excel, so please explain.
So instead of doing observation minus mean by standard deviation all the time, what you can do is, in your new column for first indicator, type equal to standardize equal to standardize. Now select
Slowly.
yeah.
Standardize
equal to standardize.
No.
Now X is the observation. Okay. So select the cell with the first
Just click on it. This
entry of your first indicator. Okay.
Yeah. Select the same line.
Equal to standardize first entry of your first indicator.
Only the first entry of your first entry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Comma.
Now
you have to select the mean value of that first indicator. The mean value of that first indicator.
The average. Click it. Select it.
Select that cell. Put a comma again. And now you have to select the standard deviation of that first indicator. Done?
Close the bracket.
Close the bracket and hit enter.
They can now drag it down, right? Okay, I want.
Don't drag it. Have you got the first standardized value? All of you?
They have got it.
This team? You've got it? Team 2? Team 3 also. Okay. Now, go back to that cell. And in the formula bar, you see the formula bar there? Top. Select the mean value. Okay. And press F4. You will get $sign. F4. You have the F1 keys, right? F1, F2, F3, F4 keys. It's okay if you cannot find the F4 key. Just put a $, before the column number and before the cell number.
Everyone knows this in Excel, right? If you want to fix, if you put a $, before B, that means when you drag it, the row B will be constant. If you pull a $, value before B as well as $713, then the cell which has 713 will be constant. You can drag it, but that cell will always remain.
Suppose your data was in the cell B4. Now I have to fix, I have to put B4 with $signs. So put $B$4. You can either type the dollars or you can simply press the F4 key. Select B4 and press F4 key. You will get dollars automatically. If you are not able to do it, type the $, between the column and the number.
Why are we fixing it? Because look at this. Look at this formula. It is what? It is observation minus mean divided by standard deviation. Next one is also observation minus mean standard deviation. Next one is also observation minus mean standard deviation. Only thing changing are the observations. Standard deviation and mean is remaining the same.
So we want to fix that.
So you want to fix that. So when you do dollar, it fixes this cell. The cell where you're not putting in dollars, it will keep on changing.
So once you have fixed the mean, do the same thing with the standard deviation. Select the standard deviation in the
Select
formula
the standard
bar.
deviation and press F4.
And hit enter again.
No.
The value will remain the same. Whatever you were getting earlier is the same thing, right? Now you can drag it down.
Wait.
Are you following? Equal to observation, equal to standardize.
Standardize, yeah, standardize.
Now select this observation, comma, mean.
Yeah, it's done.
ठीक है?
Yeah.
You don't need the comma
What
here.
does this mean? Dollar B, $8. Dollar B is this column and row 8. So row 8 and column B is fixed.
Standardize. This is
So now when
your column width is small, so you can just drag it. I mean, you can.
This is $B, $8, B8 and B9. This remains B8 and B9 constant. Go down again, it is also B8, B9 constant. Go down again, it's B8, B9. Only thing is changing is the B1, B2, B3, B4, B5.
Standardize.
B8 and B9
your
remains
value.
constant.
Mean.
B8, B9, go down.
यहीं पे you can
Only
press
thing,
F4.
B3 becomes B4, but these two remain same.
Where is
B5, these two remain same. What you're doing is you're fixing it.
Your standard deviation.
Right. So these two doesn't.
You need to press shift for F4.
So similarly, we can do
So
it
in
here.
your
Same thing we can do
keyboard,
something like this.
F4 is not working simply, right? You have to
What
press
did
it
you
in
do here?
combination with the function key. Okay? Yeah.
Do it how you
Why you are getting the formula written here.
standardize. Then comma. You go there again and do F4 or do your own dollar. Show everybody else what you're doing also. No? Okay.
So for all this will come.
Yeah. Yes, now you can drag it.
Even with the formula? No.
See, for everybody, what did you do ultimately? First thing that you did was that you came here,
what
equal
happened?
to standardize,
It has fixed
then
the
bracket,
average and standard
and you
deviation
selected
of
the
this
first
indicator,
observation.
which is wrong.
then did a comma,
So
then selected the average, right? Then comma and selected the standard deviation,
has to be
and then bracket
CR.
closed. Yes. So you had something like this. Then you put a dollar here and a dollar here on the on the average value, because you want to fix the average value. You don't want it to move. You want to calculate all of it, but you want this to change. When you drag it down, you want these to change, but this is the same. And you put dollar here, so that even the standard deviation is fixed. So once that is done, all she has to do is drag it down. She dragged it down. So you see, she dragged it down, but
Now you do the same thing with this.
BI713 and BI714, they are still constant. They were constant for here also, they are constant for this one also, constant for this also, they will not change. She's fixed it. Only thing is changing is this BI408. See, look at the value over there. Look at the value over there. See, it started with 407, and now it's 408, 409.
This part keeps changing
That
as we
part
go
keeps
down.
changing. So
These
the
two
next
are
parts
fixed.
are fixed. It is not being changed. That's the formula. So you have to do the same thing here. What you did here, you have to do the same thing for the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
So equal to standardize. Now select the first value of the second indicator. Okay.
This is not like school where you have to memorize so many formulas. It's just one thing. That's it. The basis for all composite index is this.
This step is called standardization. Why? Because we are getting rid of the units. See, it so happened that in your case, all the indicators were in percentages, right? But it's quite possible that not all the indicators are in percentages. Some could be in percentage, some could be in ratio, some could be simple numbers, some could be, say, weights of students, so they could be kg, some could be height.
Suppose they were doing a project on, they're doing a project on agriculture, right? Most of what they were saying is a percentage saying yes or percentage saying no or whatever. Suppose they had included one indicator, average wage rate, agriculture wage rate, that would have been money. It's not percentage. So how do you compare a percentage with money? You can't. You have to get rid of the scale, the unit. You have to get rid of the unit. So this is the way of getting rid of the unit.
And see, the basic logic of how it works is, when you were applying the formula observation minus mean by its standard deviation, what was happening? Suppose observation was in rupees, right? Suppose the observation was in rupees. Can I have your attention, please? Suppose the observation was in rupees, the average wage rate in agriculture. Its average value was also in rupees, correct? So rupees minus rupees gives you rupees only, and you were dividing it by standard deviation. How far is 5 rupees from 10 rupees? It is 5 rupees away, so the standard deviation was rupees again, correct? That means the denominator of your resultant is also rupees. So rupees over rupees is a unitless quantity, right? It cancels logically. So that is why it's called standardization, because you are nullifying the effects of the units. You are getting rid of the units. Correct? Have you done? For all the all the indicators? This is standard CY. You have fixed this.
So done?
This. This is fine.
Great.
Standardization of CW.
So you've got.
Great. So we are creating a composite index, and the first step of creating a composite index is to first calculate the average and the standard deviation of the indicators that you are considering. Once you have calculated the average and the standard deviation, you then standardize the indicators
by observation minus mean divided by standard deviation. That is what you did just now. Now we are going to create the index. Okay. So you've got standardized values now. The new, for each indicator, these same indicators, 4 indicators are the same indicators here. You have copied the heading, right? So you've got new values here. Yes? You've got new values here. Add them up. Add them up. No, not this way. Not this way. Add them up this way. Add them up horizontally. Clear? You've got new values for every indicator for every district. Yes? Now add them up like this. Only the 4 new columns that you have created. Composite index. Why don't you tell me what is the composite? Team 2. Team 2. Hello. Tell me the values. 129.0. Next. First one was positive. Next. Minus. Bus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, one more. Sorry. And 8.9. These are your composite index values for poverty alleviation. Yes? So if you take poverty alleviation as a subject which has 4 indicators, it could have 50 indicators, it doesn't matter. Then after you do this, you simply, these numbers don't mean anything. They are not percentage, they are nothing. It is simply done to indicate position. So the best position is this one, right? This is first, 424. This is second. This is third. This is fourth. This is fifth. And this is sixth. Remember, a composite index score doesn't mean anything. The number does not mean anything. Right? It is simply done to show you position. Now there are different ways of positioning this. You could keep the numbers like this. A lot of people don't understand such numbers. Right? What is this minus 287 and this, that and all that, they don't understand. So what we recommend at times is that you can scale it. How do you scale it? You can say I can scale it between 0 and 100, which means smallest value is 0, largest value is 100. So this automatically becomes 100 and where is 2? This automatically, where is 6? 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. This automatically becomes 0 and everything else will have a value between 100 and 0. A lot of people understand that better. Do you understand? A lot of people tend to understand that better. Clear? This is how you can rescale it between, and so this will have a value of between 0 to 100. This will also have a value between 0 to 100. This will have a value between 0 to 100 and something. I mean, you can Manmeet, you want to just do this on the. Okay, थोड़ा इसको copy करके scaling थोड़ा समझा. Okay, but anyway, you can either leave it like this. You can leave it like this and then rank it, or you can convert this into a scale of 100 to 0 and then again rank it. The rank will remain the same. It is just that people tend to understand 0 to 100 much better. If you remember the indicator, the rural quality of life index which we had shown you, the highest was 100, then 97.2, then 94.2. It is because all 707 districts of this country, whatever was the composite index score, we converted into 0 to 100. Right? So, it is very people to understand, okay, you are 92%, must be good. You are 12%, people, because of the examination which we give in school, we understand the 100, this unitary concept. So, you can shift it. ये तो हो गया.
अच्छा, you've told maximum minimum. You're telling scaling, right?
Okay. For scaling.
For
so
scaling,
I want you to copy this.
Okay.
Copy this and then do a scaling on that.
I'll tell them through this data itself. No? So, if you have already calculated have you already calculated the maximum and minimum?
No.
So let's go to this cell, type equal to max, and then select the values of that indicator for all the districts. Just like average and standard deviation, equal to max, and then select all the data values of that indicator. Done?
So you have to do this on the composite index score, ना? आपको तो पहले composite index का score निकालना पड़ेगा.
We can do it इसके ऊपर ना. अच्छा, आप composite index की बात कर रहे हो. अच्छा, do this only for the composite index score. You have made them do a linear addition.
Everybody has done it.
Okay.
Everybody has generated the composite index score for your own area.
So
right?
only for the so calculate the maximum and minimum only for the composite index column, not for all the indicators.
Only for this column. Only for the new column. New means the last column, the composite addition column.
Suppose this was my composite score. Suppose this particular column BL was my composite score. Then you calculate the maximum and minimum only for this column. Similarly, for minimum, type equal to min.
Maximum is max and minimum is min.
And select all the data values of your composite score and hit enter. You've got only 6 districts, right? So you can verify it manually also if your formulas is working correct or not. Done? Got it? Team 2? Team 3? Okay. Now what you do is, no, you don't have to insert. This must be your last column, right? This must be your extreme right column, wherever you're working, correct? Okay. Now what you do is, come to the first column, first composite score of the first district. Okay? Type equal to, now select this observation, the first observation, minus minimum value of this entire column. So what was the minimum value of the entire column? This. Okay? And press F4 because we want to use the dollar sign again. We don't want to keep using the formula observation minus min upon max minus min. We don't want to keep doing that again and again. So we will just freeze this particular cell. Okay, you see in my formula bar dollar has appeared. Correct? Now,
You put in dollars?
put this in bracket, it will be easier for you to do. Equal to bracket observation minus minimum, select minimum, press F4. Some of you might have to press the function key with F4 or the shift key with F4, depends on your system. If you're not able to do F4, just simply type the dollar value. Simply type $sign. Got it?
Dollar, before and after BL.
Now divide this by bracket open, maximum minus minimum and bracket close.
Have you guys understood the formula? Observation minus minimum divided by maximum minus minimum.
Have you written it there? Whatever is your observation minus minimum of that column divided by maximum of that column minus minimum of that column. Done? Done?
Clear?
Now, you have to multiply this entire thing with 100.
Put a bracket outside, or you can just enter and then on the next column multiply it by 100.
So, in this formula that we have typed so far, what you can do is put another pair of opening and closing brackets. So, one more bracket here.
Right, put another
one more bracket in the beginning. Okay, multiplied by 100.
So, what is the value you are getting?
And hit enter. So, you will get 0 if that particular observation was the minimum value. Because what happens, we are scaling all the values between 0 and 100, right? We are scaling all the values between 0 and 100.
Drag it
so,
down.
the minimum value of the entire data set will take the value 0.
Drag it down.
And the maximum value of the entire data set will take the value 100. Correct?
So drag it down.
So, when your observation itself is the minimum value minus minimum value gives you 0, right? No matter what you divide with, no matter whatever you multiply it with, it will give you 0. Correct? And whatever will be your maximum value in that data set.
When you drag it down, there will be 100. You can check the raw data.
See.
That will be the highest value in any case. That will be the maximum value.
Okay. In my case, since I was working on dummy data, so there were errors. But you can simply drag it down. Hold the bottom right corner of the cell and drag it down.
You dragged it.
Were you able to do it? Please see, there was a small error here. I forgot to put the dollar signs when I was doing maximum minus minimum. This happens. We are humans.
Maximum.
And now you drag it down.
The minimum at the top and the minimum at the
now
bottom.
Now you drag it down with the dollar sign.
At the bottom will also have dollar sign.
Okay. Drag the formula only after you have put the dollar sign. If you had not multiplied it with 100, all your values would have been between 0 and 1.
If you had multiplied by 10, then all your values would be between
0 and 10.
You can multiply by 500, all your values would be between 0 and 500. It is just as I said, if from school, whenever we have given examinations, we have been sort of trained to understand percentages, right? So,
So far so good. Team 1, 3. So far so good. There, that side. Image of Assam, entire state. Poverty alleviation and health. Okay, so you tell us, we starting from agriculture, tell us the composite index score of all the districts.
and the scale score, the standardized scale score out of 100. The first one.
For East Garo
Was it
Hills.
0?
The final composite index score that you have just scaled between 0 and 100.
I want the scale value of your composite. 0. Then?
For Riboi?
Sorry? हो ही नहीं सकता. No, everybody is scaling to
1 to 100. Please do it 100.
Everybody is 79, 83, 100. 100. Then 83, 64, 63.
That's it.
Right. Done.
I hope the order of districts is same. What you are saying and what he has written on the board.
Poverty alleviation. Just give me the whole round number. 58.93, na? Right, 58, okay.
That becomes 50.
100. 0. In agriculture, East Khasi Hills is the best, but in poverty alleviation, it is 0. 42, okay. How much? 2. Yes. 2.
39.8.
Because all districts are not
So 40.
together. Okay.
In yours?
You can just reduce the decimals, it becomes easier.
So each one of you did a composite index of your own. Yes? So how do we do a composite of a composite index? Simply add it. Nothing else. So add it. Composite of composite index. When you add it, add it.
$193.
Add it. Add these two.
113.
So, if quality of life was being defined in only 3 thematic areas, suppose this is theoretical, right? 3 thematic areas, then the highest quality of life is here. The second highest quality of life is here. The third highest quality of life is here. Fourth is here. Fifth is here. Sorry, sixth is here. Clear? Alright?
You remember in the rural quality of life index that we showed you yesterday, we had 9 pillars and 69 indicators. today you have created an index with 3 pillars and 12 indicators, right? And something that we were calling the overall quality of life is the composite of the composite index that you have just generated.
Instead of these values, you can standardize this value also. You can scale this value also.
Again, between 0 to
doing
100.
This formula, observation minus minimum divided by maximum minus minimum into 100, because a lot of people might not understand these numbers, right?
Because you see, as of now, these are out of 300.
0 and 100. But 0 and 100 also has some problems sometimes. Who gets 0 will come and tell you, you mean we do nothing? Why are we 0? You have to then explain to them, no, the lowest is 0. They will not understand. They will just get angry because why are we 0? So while 0 to 100 is easy to understand, not many people would like to see their district as 0, right? So it is entirely up to you how to help people understand. Okay? So you can keep it like this and tell them this is the score that you have got out of
300.
Out of 300. Right? You can express it like this also. Instead of 114, you can say this is 114 divided by 300 into 100. You can do that also.
Like a percentage?
And convert it into a percentage. You can do that. That's the best way. Then nobody becomes 0. Okay?
But you, of course, know the true picture.
Nobody, in fact, I always prefer this method. I always prefer this method. So it's fair. So have you understood? A pure and simple method is what you did in terms of the PowerPoint presentation, right? Every indicator you presented, this is the situation and this is where each one of the districts are standing. Second level, what you did was that you created a composite index for your sector. So for agriculture, you created a composite index. For poverty alleviation, you created a composite index. For health and sanitation, you created a composite index. The final thing that you learned is
putting all of them together.
The composite of a composite index, that all of it together is this. So as an administrator, what will I do? I will first take a look at this. Right? I will first take a look at this. Say I am number 6. I am somebody in South Garo Hills. Right? And say that, okay, I am so bad. Then I would like to say, okay, why am I so bad? Where am I so bad? Right? They're saying, okay, maybe I am not so bad here. I am more or less bad here. I'm right in the middle. I am really bad here. Right? Which is in health and sanitation. So I will take a greater look at health and sanitation. So then I will go and ask them for the individual data. Individually, they have 4 indicators. I'm going to look at which among the 4 indicators I have done really badly. And that has pulled down my score. So you have to understand, this is macro. From the macro, you try and understand which sectors you do badly, and then once you identify the bad sectors, you go back into the
indicator micro data.
From macro, you go down to the micro, you start querying the individual data. You remember yesterday we presented East Garo Hill and some indicators, that those red bands which we had presented. Can you just open that?
Yeah.
Oh, but before that?
Yeah, this was it.
Yeah. So you remember this? This was East Jayantia Hills, and in education, and it found out that overall it was not. It was doing too bad. It was doing quite bad. Right, overall for these 2 segments. So they queried, they said everywhere else I can still manage, but these 2 I am the worst. So they went and queried the
individual pillars
and found out exactly which are the ones which is responsible for me doing so badly there. This is the beauty of a composite index. The composite index first tells you overall where your position is, then it allows you to go one step further to understand which sectors are your problems, and then when you go into that sectors, it tells you which are the subsectors where you really have to do better work. This is the theory. Now you know, hopefully you know how to construct it, right? You did this with only 6. Try doing that with 700 districts. It's a lot of work. And everybody needs to bring their own computer.
And imagine there was no blank value here while you were working.
There are so many blank values which we had to fill.
And imagine, also please do imagine, wherever the data for an indicator got revised. For example, NFHS came up with a fresh data set, or say UDICE came up with some new statistics of total number of schools, total number of children. We had to revise that indicator value, we had to revise that pillar value, we had to revise the overall value and create the graphics again and again and again.
So that is why next time we will all do this through machine learning. No human intervention, only machines will do. Okay?
Hopefully then we'll not have to prove ourselves as humans and not machines.
Okay. So is this more or less clear? I think we need to break for tea.
I'm not sure if tea is ready. Joy has gone to the secretariat.
What time is the tea? What time is the break? Can someone just take a look at the...
It was supposed to be at 3 to 3:30. Will you have group presentations or we can let it be?
No, I think they have understood. Have you all understood? Great.
Okay.
So what we will do is that not only will we leave the presentation here, this methodology of creating these indices, we're going to write it down in a note and I'm going to send it to all of you people. Step by step, the formulas and what needs to be done in Excel with screenshots. We will create a manual like that and we will send it to you. Don't worry, we'll create a manual and send it to you. Step by step manual on how to do this. So you can try it on your own. I'll just go and check if the tea is ready.
Do we have any specific questions on the methodology or anything so far that we have covered?
Is there any specific software
For?
calculations?
We can use more sophisticated analytical softwares like Stata or SPSS. We generally prefer Stata, but something like this it's easier to be done on Excel.
It's best in Excel.
Because it's easier to use formulas. In Stata and SPSS, one has to prepare code. So that's another thing altogether. Excel is the easiest to do this kind of stuff.
See, like if you were doing, I don't know, maybe Abhishek would have, I don't know how many people addressed KZ and Abhishek's session. Did any of you guys attend it? On monitoring and evaluation and so on and so forth. So he might have talked about things like regressions and also let's say he would have talked about statistical tests of significance and so on and so forth. See, why you can memorize these formulas, but the best is just to theoretically know what to apply when. Then after that, all you have to do is, where is the thing? For all formulas on statistics, all you have to do is there's a website called Social Science Statistics, SocSkyStat. And it has everything. All you have to do is just feed in your data. Social science statistics, social science statistics.
SocSkyStats. SOC.
Right, it's very simple. Like for example, if you want to do a test of significance of two means, it will just simply tell you to put in what is the value of your sample, what is the total value of your sample, what is the observed value of your sample, and it will just run the formula on its own and give you data. So there are shortcuts for everything which is available. what she's talking about in Stata or in SPSS and all that, you have to do a lot of coding. So SPS is fairly menu driven, but you still have to do a lot of coding. For my purposes, at least for running these things, I think the best thing to do is just use Excel. Nothing else is required.
Especially when you have smaller data sets, Excel is best. When you have huge data sets running into thousands and lakhs of rows, that time Excel might be problematic, but otherwise Excel is good. It's convenient. Should we break?
There's nobody downstairs. So.
Would you like to then cover stakeholders?
Yeah, I can, but this seems a little bit redundant to me. But anyway, I can quickly go through it. There's no point in going through this actually. Is there next? Don't go next. Nah, this is all a bunch of big words and all that. It doesn't make any sense. I'd rather just have a talk with them. That is much better. So, I'm very curious to know one thing. What sort of data do you guys handle? As part of your job, what sort of data handling do you do? Right. So, the data comes from where? From the blocks, from the agriculture extension officers.
Yes.
Radios, development officers. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what is the frequency? They send it every month? Right. So what do you do with the data?
We compile it. We collect all the data from the district. After we get all the data from the district, we collect it. The whole state. The shift with the committee, meeting is there with the secretary. So after all this meeting, after the approving, we send it to the Ministry of Agriculture, Farmer and Agriculture.
Right. Okay. So, what sort of, like in these meetings that you have at the state level, is there a team which does any analysis of that data?
Yeah, it's done by Agriculture Department and us.
So, what sort of analysis do you do?
We check any increase in area production of yield of some crops that we select. If any there's drastic increase or drastic decrease, we identify the reasons for it, why it increased, why it increased. So after we getting all those reasons, correct reasons, then we approve the report.
Okay. Do you do any sort of ranking exercise? No, on the districts. But it's fairly easy to do, no? I mean, you just saw yesterday that if you had, suppose you've got, in agriculture, you must be covering 30, 40 different data heads, right?
Yeah,
What about data on agriculture infrastructure?
We only connect.
You only do production data. What about area under irrigation and all that?
Yeah, that's also.
You also collect? Do you do any calculations on cropping intensity? Okay. So you should go back and tell them we should do a ranking exercise. You really should. And ask them to give the other agriculture department should send you guys data. You should not work only on production data. You should work on infrastructure and services data also. Because there are so many government schemes, then access to government schemes is also very important, right? Yeah. So take all of this raw data and just at your own time develop an index and show it to them.
That will be fine.
It will be great. You need any help? We're just a phone call away. Not a problem.
Sure, sir.
Anybody else who wants to say what sort of data that they use? You must be using some sort of data, right? You already showed me yesterday the type of data that you use. You want to share with everybody?
It's a questionnaire. That's a questionnaire. So
On what topic?
all the schemes, central schemes, state schemes.
Right. And so, what do you collect? Reach.
Example, ICPS, DMAY, all the rural schemes, schemes, that's why. Collect the data, we have a questionnaire, which is already made. So from there we collect the data.
And who collects the data?
We go to the field.
Yeah, we post.
Every village.
We select every district blocks. From the district to the block, then we send to
From
the
Excel to we get directly.
we synchronize, it goes to the dashboard.
So, do you collect this information as a household survey, or do you collect the information from the Darbag's office?
It depends. Like ICS, we have no district, but is
Anganwadi center, yes.
then we block observe.
Right.
Some
Then,
data.
like rural, so we can direct to the fields. Survey, ask question. According to our question,
So apart from data collection is one thing, but apart from organizing the data and reporting, do you also get any chance to do some analysis with the data? They do. Okay. But even a report will look very interesting if you do composite indexing, no? Yeah, sure. It's very important for. Yeah. And if you've got granular data, you can compare blocks also. Blocks also. Because in an annual report, having some sort of a ranking exercise and reasons for good rank, bad rank, that level of analysis is very useful, especially for politicians. It's very useful, and they will also see why. You should try it. Anybody else? Okay, Joy asked me to say that I think everybody has a feedback form. Before leaving, if everybody can fill up the feedback form.
Already?
Are we through? Great. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Okay, please fill up the form and just leave it at the desk over there. People who have already filled up the form, they are free to move, no problem.
Just was wondering if it's okay to ask. Maybe you might be having some options working with the composite index in your project, but maybe we can customize it for our use.
Yeah, so that's what I said. That next thing what we realize is that we have to make a manual for you. So we will go back and make a manual with screenshots of processes, everything that has to be done, step by step, and we will send it to you. Meanwhile, Joy has the presentation which we have done. We will do that. Just wait for a little while. I think we are waiting for the government to release the
Index.
the Rural Quality of Life Index, and then it becomes an open source, so you can use that as well. But whatever additional information that we talked about, but it is not there in the presentation, we'll go back to office, create a manual, and send it across. She's going to be the points person, so everything has to go through her. We will send it for sure.